On behalf of my colleagues and myself, I'd like to thank the Taylor family for creating this award and the Nieman Foundation for administering it and having us here today. It's a tremendous honor to be recognized for fairness, which is one of the bedrocks of our profession, something we all strive in all of its complexities and vagaries to achieve every day. I'm also thrilled to be here among the other recipients of the awards. It's a real inspiration, their courage and tenacity in the pursuit of the truth, and I'm just honored to be among them. As Anne Marie mentioned, I was a 2015 Nieman Fellow, and coming back here to the Lippman House to receive this award is especially meaningful for me. In fact, that year, I moderated a panel between or among the winners of the Bingham Award and the Taylor Family Award, and 3 of the people who won were former colleagues of mine at the Miami Herald, and 2 have returned here today, so it's very serendipitous that we're here again together. In many ways, as Anne Marie said, the beginnings of the project that we all did started here on the Harvard campus while I was a fellow. I had spent 3 or 4 years, maybe actually it was 4 or 5 years, looking at the public finances in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago and the deterioration of those, looking at long-term legacy liabilities for lack of funding of the pensions, and also irresponsible borrowing by various levels of government. And while I was here, I decided, as I was facing the prospect of returning to the real world, what was I going to do? And I decided to look at the other side of the balance sheet, to try to look at the revenues that were coming in, because those revenues would have to pay for the irresponsible behavior of our politicians. And the largest source of revenue is property tax. So I decided to look at the property taxes and the Cook County Assessor's Office. Others had done this before, and they had started looking mainly at lawyers and their relationship with the assessor, kind of presuming that the system was rigged to help a handful of lawyers. We took a different approach. We tried to approach it using objective measures of fairness and accuracy, which required a lot of statistics in order to prove the point that we wanted to prove. We ended up getting more than 100 million property tax records, and with the help of many experts, analyzing those records and finding that, in fact, the property tax system was rigged for a particular class of people, namely the wealthy. It turned out that the assessor was overvaluing low-priced homes and undervaluing high-priced homes. This was a systemic issue that the assessor, in fact, knew was happening. They put out a press release the month that I started investigating this, saying that they had fixed the problem. And at first I had thought, oh, well, maybe there's nothing for me to do. But we plowed ahead and, in fact, ended up proving that the assessor lied to the public, did not actually implement the models that they had told everyone they did. And when we reported this to them, they refused to meet with us and then held press conferences attacking our work. Of course, those attacks proved to be incorrect. An independent study corroborated everything that we reported, and then some. In the end, while this story relied heavily on statistics and very complex, maybe even for some people boring topic, with the help of editors like Karin and people at ProPublica, a lot of editors when you had 2 organizations in one story. But it was great, and we were able to really boil the information down and present it in a way that was compelling and moved people. And one way we did this is we didn't just rely on the statistics. We went out and talked to real people. People like Rosalind Shelton, who inherited her home from her parents, and in the home was her largest amount of wealth, and she was overtaxed by more than 40% and was in the verge of losing her home. Families like the Doyles, who owned a small daycare center called Sweet Pea Academy, which you couldn't make up, and they were over-assessed by more than 40% as well, and barely holding on to their business. In the end, we found that the total tax shift just on the residential side in just a 5-year period was more than $2 billion for the most wealthy people in Cook County, or just in the city of Chicago. One of the best things about this project, and one of the things I love most about journalism, is its collaborative nature. And of course, this story took a lot of people worked on this story, multiple organizations. My colleague Sandhya Kamampati helped with an analysis on the commercial side. Ray Long, who's also honored today and couldn't be here, really did yeoman's work on nepotism that was going on inside the assessor's office, which also helped resonate the issues that were at stake. We not only had the Tribune and ProPublica working together, but I ended up teaching a class, a graduate level course, or co-teaching at the University of Chicago's public policy school, where we ended up publishing a paper that became one of the days in our story. So as our business changes and faces challenges, I think more and more collaboration is going to be what we're going to need to do in order to get our information out to the widest possible audience and have the most impact. We did have impact for this story. A day after the first 3 parts ran, the Inspector General launched an investigation. Multiple laws were drafted. Eventually, a Civil Rights and Fair Housing Act lawsuit was filed. That's ongoing. But most importantly, the voters were provided with objective, nonpartisan information that they took into the voting booth and voted out Cook County Assessor Joseph Berrios, who at the time was the chairman of the Cook County Democratic Party. That's equivalent to being almost a king in Cook County. And the fact that he lost an election, which the Democratic Party in Cook County does not do, they do not lose elections, that's what they're there to do, was a huge thing for us, for everyone on the team, and we were just thrilled that we had so much impact. Today, there are massive changes being made to the assessment system that hopefully will make it more fair, and that's why this award is so meaningful to us. So thanks so much.